morning, and
welcome to Open Hand Farm.
This is my grandson Yuri, and I am going to assist him today, and we're going to work together to make some fried or toasted, however you want to say it, raviolis. He called me up and said, "Hey Grandma, wouldn't that be fun to make ravioli?" And I'm like, "Well, I've never done that before." So we're going to give it a go, and we thought we would bring you along so that if you've never made it before, maybe you'll learn how to make it too. We're following a recipe that is for a Italian sausage mushroom filling that will also have ricotta cheese in it. But the first thing we have to do is take our sausages, cut them open, and pull the meat out. Some people don't like doing that, but I couldn't find it just freshly ground, so that's what we're gonna have to do. So this recipe calls for 4 Italian sausages. This package has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we had Italian sausages with our family on Sunday, so I saved a couple back. Yuri, I'm gonna show you what you need to do here. You need to take this and just cut down it like that. And then this skin comes off and just add it to the bowl. We're making a double batch because I'm not sure how many we will make, and he has a family of 6, and then we have a family here that we could feed, so I figured more would be better than not enough. So we're just gonna do all of these. We're gonna go to a bigger bowl. I think we're gonna need it. All right, the next thing is mushrooms. I did not get the little white button mushrooms. I wanted some mushrooms that really had some flavor, so we got some baby bellas. Instead of chopping them by hand, because some people don't like a lot of mushroom flavor, we're gonna put them in our little kind of blender thing here and make sure that they're chopped up really well. We need 2.5 cups, so let's just go ahead and put like maybe half full here, and we'll go ahead and just blend a little bit at a time, and we might not even end up with enough, but I figure with that extra sausage in there, it'll fill in. All right, let's put it in this cup just so we can have an idea for future purposes how much this will give us with this size package of mushrooms. Let's get all those in here. We only have about a cup, so the next time we'll know better. So we don't even have enough for one recipe, but because people aren't like super excited about the mushrooms, I'm good with this amount. So what we really need to do here is to break this all up, but I think we can do that in a skillet with a spatula, so we're not gonna worry about doing that by hand.
We're gonna go ahead and fry up the sausage and the mushroom together.
Okay, we're gonna get our skillet hot here, and we're gonna get this all broken up before we add the mushrooms. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add this and turn this around. Okay, Yuri, you want to break this up?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to let Yuri break that up, and I'm going to kind of do a little tidying around. While Yuri breaks up the sausage, I wanted to tell you that I tried a new sourdough recipe for my pasta. I really liked making it. The last time I made pasta was during my pantry challenge, and it was a lot of work. This one I made in the food processor. It is sourdough. So I made it last night in the food processor. I kneaded it for 2 minutes, and then I wrapped it in plastic wrap and put it in the fridge. So we'll see how it works today. If I like it and I feel like it's something that I want to share, I will definitely put the link in my description box. Okay, we're going to go ahead, now that it's kind of broken up, and add in the mushrooms. And then they'll all kind of cook together. And if there are some bigger mushroom pieces, they'll kind of cook in and cook down a little bit, so it'll be fun.
Switching to a better method just to get some smaller pieces to be able to put in our pasta. So I'm gonna let this cook a little bit longer It's still a little pink, but I am liking the size. Remember, for those cooking at home, never forget to hold your skillet. You never want all these juices and oils to fly all over you, so just be careful and be cautious.
So the next thing we need to do is finish our filling. So I'm beating up some egg. This is actually 2 eggs since I am doing a double recipe. We have 1.5 cups of ricotta cheese, and we're gonna mix this stuff together before I put it in with the meat because I want the eggs incorporated well. So we'll just kind of mix this all together. The recipe does not call for Parmesan cheese, but who doesn't love a little Parmesan cheese? We'll save some behind to put on the raviolis after we fry them, but we'll add a little bit to this too. And this is a very fine grade Parmesan. This is not the green jar kind of Parmesan, but you could use that if that's what you have on hand. All right. Yuri, you want to add all that together?
Sure.
We did strain grease off of the sausage. You don't want a lot of extra moisture in there or it will be too wet on your pasta dough.
So the recipe called for mild and spicy Italian sausage, but we didn't have that. We just went with some normal, Italian sausage. So we tasted it and we do feel like it could use some spice. So this is what we're using to add that. We've got crushed red pepper. Let's stir this up to see what it tastes like.
Grandma can't handle the heat like these youngins can.
Let's go for it. Go for it.
Go for it. We also added a little bit of salt. It seemed a little bland. So be sure and taste your mixture because once it's inside your ravioli, you can't change it. Okay, we're gonna try again. I think that's gonna work. The peppers will heat it up as it sits here, as they become moist. So I think this is gonna be great. Okay, on to the dough. So I just have a very basic pasta machine. I don't have anything fancy. It will cut wide noodles and spaghetti, that's it. Or it will just roll out plain sheets, and that's what we're doing today for the ravioli. We don't have a special ravioli cutter or anything like that, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way. Okay, we're going to dust our pan with flour, but I don't have a sifter, so we're just gonna use this and kind of dust it around and get it in that way. We're gonna do a little bit over here as well, where we're gonna be working in case it falls here. And it says to do some on the pasta roller. All right, we'll see what happens. So the first thing we're supposed to do is divide the dough into 8 parts. So we're gonna, 4 parts, but because we have 2 recipes, we're gonna do 8 parts. There's 4, 6, and 8. Now we're gonna work with one of these parts. The others I'm gonna put on a plate and cover with plastic wrap so that they don't dry out. That's very important. Okay, so we're gonna put this kind of in a ball, or actually kind of a rectangle, and just start it with our hands, and then Yuri's gonna roll it. Okay, he's gonna roll this into an oval that will fit into our pasta machine. And it doesn't have to be real flat, just so it'll go in the machine. Okay, let's try that and see what it does. Okay, if you just lay it in there, let's see if it'll catch it. Yep. Oops. We have a very thin area to attach this to, so it's probably gonna slip on us a little bit. Last time I did it on my table, but I wanted to work over here in the kitchen. So that is our biggest setting, and we wanna go down to our lowest, so we're gonna go down 1, So Yuri, do you want to just try to do this yourself, or do you want me to help you?
I'll try and do it myself.
Okay.
Just spin it
And
this way?
I'll catch it down here. Yeah, just, there you go. And kind of make it get caught. There we go. Okay. Now, if I were looking at this, I would say, that looks pretty thin. I think that's good. But this says it needs to be so thin that you can see your hand through it. I can't imagine, but we'll keep going. It's nice to have extra hands. This was something I struggled with when I did it for our pantry challenge. Yeah, let's change the setting.
To get it too thin.
I know, I'm scared to get it too thin too. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Here you go. You take that. I think it's more durable than we think it is.
I hope so.
Oh, I can see my hand. All right, and now down to 6. And I think we were on 4 when we could see my hand. Okay, you want to change it? All right, let's start with the little end. Yep, I see my hand.
That one's
I'm gonna hold this up close so you can see. I don't know if you can see my hand through that, but I can see the color of my skin through it. You know how we've been having kind of a skinny end and a fat end? Let's kind of see if we can get it more even to start with, and maybe it'll do better for us. What do you think? Okay, try that. Okay, that's getting kind of thick in the middle, kind of wide, which means it's probably not gonna keep going through there. So we're just gonna fold that over and work with it that way. And we'll turn that down to 6. Yeah, that's good. All right, put it on 5. So Yuri has been working hard, and he now has it all figured out how to do this first roll so that it doesn't have a pointy end on it. The last one was just beautiful. And of course, this is the last one to do because that's when you usually figure your routine out. He did great. I was gonna say we're doing really great. Maybe we'll go in the pasta business, but maybe not.
It would be fun.
We might have to get a better pasta machine. One that'll stick to the table and not have to hold it down on one side. If any of you have a pasta machine you stuck away in your closet, you don't want it, feel free to send it to me. I'll put it to good use. Yay. Look at that beautiful, beautiful strip of pasta. Good job, Yuri. See your hand. So these are his noodles. They're still very long and pointy, but man, these two are perfect. They're beautiful. Okay, we are ready to put these together. Let me show you the amount of liquid that came out of our meat so that you don't skip that step. There was quite a bit, so I'm really glad that we left it sitting while we rolled out the pasta. And now we're gonna grab some pasta sheets and put them together. So here are the two that we're gonna start with. One of them is longer than the other. So we're gonna put our meat on the shorter one and we're gonna cover with the longer one. That way we know the meat is gonna be covered. We're gonna use cookie scoops to kind of figure this out. I would like to put 2 on each one, but that's gonna be very small. We're just gonna try it. Let's see what happens. So, if I do there. Okay, that's gonna be too much for a single little ravioli. If we do this, I think that will work. And then we'll lay this over and wet around this first and then lay that over and kind of press in between the lumps of meat and go from there. Okay, so we can either use a spoon or we can use that and put less in it. And we want, say, 2 fingers apart. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. We're learning as we go here, guys, so thanks a lot for learning with us. I'm gonna put one here that is just a single and one here that's a single. This is why you want your meat to be broken up pretty small while you're cooking it so that you can do small amounts like this. Okay, the one that we're putting the meat on is a little bit wider than this one. So I'm just kind of stretching this out a little bit so that we have enough to cover when we lay it over. Now I have a little bowl of water and we're just gonna run our fingers around these so that they'll stick when the pasta lays on top of it. You want to work kind of quickly because it does soak in and dry pretty quick. Okay, I think we're ready to flip it, Yuri?
I think so.
Okay, you grab that end. I'll grab this end. Okay, I'm going to pull just a little bit more because it's not quite wide enough, just in the middle here. And it's nice because the dough has gotten a little stiffer, so I'm pulling it without even feeling like I'm ripping it or anything. Okay, so now that we've got it laid over, we're going to push on the sides first because we need to know that those sides are going to really have enough room to stick down. And then we're going to go in between. And hopefully we're going to hit our water line. We'll go in between the sides as well as in the middle. Okay, now we're real secure, like really rub hard. I'm going to try to cut in between these and leave enough room on each of them.
It's really satisfying to see it come to fruition like this.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? We don't want to cut them in a circle just because we don't want to do that right now. But we are going to take a fork and we're gonna wet our fork a little bit and we're gonna go around the edges and push them down to make sure that they're sealed so we don't lose any of our filling. And if some of them have like really big sides on them, we can trim them down if we want to, but we don't have to. Okay, we're gonna lay these on a pan that has parchment paper. I am gonna cut that really big edge off there. Oh, hey, I wonder if I could use a cookie cutter. Okay, I have this one that I use for my biscuits, and that will just kind of cut the edges off if we want to. That looks like it's gonna work pretty well. There, now we have a round one. These are rustic ravioli. We like rustic around here. And just so you know, I did put this meat mixture in the refrigerator because we were still working on things and I did not want to leave that pork out like that. So, you know, if you're worried that I've been sitting out here with this meat out this whole time, I haven't. It's okay.
We've decided rather than picking 2 that match each other, each of them already obviously match themselves. So we're just gonna put 1 row on each and fold it over on itself. Pinch down between each filling. It's better to pinch from the fold side so that you can get all the air out that you don't want in your ravioli. Instead of using the knife, we're using the cookie cutter.
Fits very nicely in there.
You have perfect ravioli.
Here's a row of cookie cutter ones that I did. They're much more uniform, but I don't care how they look. They're gonna taste wonderful. Okay, we are down to the last step. This project today I have drawn from 3 different recipes. The actual ravioli recipe had its own sourdough recipe with it, but you used kamut flour and I didn't have any, so I found the recipe that I used and I really liked it. I will be using it again. The ravioli we got from the recipe. I told Yuri if he wanted to make ravioli, he needed to find the recipe, so that's the one he found. Well, now we're like, do you just throw the ravioli in the skillet and fry it like it is? But if you eat it at a restaurant or get it in a bag in the freezer, it's got this like crunchy coating on it. So I found yet another recipe to use for that. And it is a fried ravioli with a panko coating on it. So that's what we're gonna do now. And we're just gonna go ahead and fry them all because we both have air fryers at our house and we can just heat them up in those. Otherwise, if you weren't going to eat them yet and you didn't have an air fryer, I would put them in the fridge and wait until you're ready to eat them and then fry them.
So first we're gonna put together our wet dip for us to put in our breading. It consists of egg and buttermilk. So let's go ahead and put these eggs in here.
We did not actually have buttermilk, so I took a scant cup of milk and added a tablespoon of lemon juice to it to make our buttermilk. And Yuri is mixing this in a bowl, but when he's done, we're gonna go ahead and put it in this cake pan because it has a bigger, flatter surface to coat the ravioli in.
So the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of oregano, but we just went ahead and crushed up some mystery amount of fresh oregano.
I mean, can you really go wrong with too much fresh oregano? So we have been letting these set up just for a few minutes before we do this because we want them to have kind of a drier surface before we soak them. So what we're gonna do is put them in the wet and then we're going to dredge them in the panko crumbs and shake off the extra. And we're gonna lay them on a plate until we put them in the hot oil. But I actually am curious, we're gonna do one that we don't coat and see what it looks like because you might not wanna do all of this extra. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and fry these and one without coating on it to see what we think. Our oil is getting up to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and drop in the plain one first and just see what it does. We've got some puffing up going on. We'll definitely have to just fry a couple at a time and they'll have to be flipped over. I don't know, I assume it's crispy. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's done? We're gonna go for it. Oh, that looks pretty. It looks like a fried wonton or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like crab rangoon or something.
Yeah, crab rangoon. All right, we're gonna put 2 of these in, a bigger one and a smaller one. And our oil is getting hotter, so we're gonna turn it down a little bit so that we can maintain that. So here are the ones with pancos flipped over. And I was just telling Yuri that the meat inside is already cooked. So we don't have to worry about leaving it in there long enough to cook the meat. And I think that's plenty of time. That's a very quick cooking. Ooh, that sounds crunchy and good. The recipe calls for canola oil, but we're using avocado oil because I don't really have a lot of canola oil. Actually, I don't have any.
This here is the finished product. We're gonna go ahead and keep working.
Yuri has the perfect order of operation.
Starting with putting them in, or in this case, taking them out. I set them out and then put the next ones in, 3 at a time. And then while those are cooking on the first side, go ahead and sprinkle. Sprinkle.
Aren't those gorgeous?
And these are about ready to flip by the time I'm done.
And then he starts all over again. Okay, Mark and Yuri are going to try them. Mark's cutting the one that we didn't put batter on in half so that they could both try it. They have a little dish of marinara. Let's see what you guys think about that one.
I'm just gonna eat it.
They're okay. All right.
Super crunchy.
It's almost like pie crust.
It's like pie crust? Okay. Now, Mark's dying
Now
to get
let's get
into
serious.
the serious stuff.
That one.
You want that one?
That one is mine.
Okay. I want to hear if it's crunchy. Yeah, I heard that. Is it good?
No.
Just so you know, when he says no, that usually means it's really good and he doesn't want anybody else to eat it. Okay, Yuri, maybe you won't like it either.
I wonder if that'll taste. Go ahead.
Is it as good as you had hoped? Taking that as a yes. Worth the work? Okay, very good. Well, I tasted them too. They're amazing, you guys. If you've never made homemade ravioli, I can't even tell you how good these are. This wasn't hard. It was a little time consuming and we kind of had to work together in tandem, which worked great. I did all the batter and breading and Yuri did the frying and putting cheese on them, and we got a routine down and it went really quick once we got it started. We are so glad that you came along with us. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Penny. I told you who Yuri was, but I didn't introduce myself. Thanks a lot for coming along. And I hope that you check out some of our other videos and maybe find some that will pertain to things in your life that you enjoy. Until next time, blessings on you and yours.